What's going on, guys? This is Snoop603 from Shustybang, and joining me today is special guest Why Not the Tiger, and welcome to the 10th episode of my Battlefield 4 weapon reviews. In today's video, we're going to go over the AUG A3 from both the PC and the PlayStation 4 perspectives. The AUG A3 is available for the Assault class only, and to unlock it, you need to earn 48,000 points with assault rifles.
The country of origin for the AUG A3 is Austria. The fire modes are semi-auto and fully automatic. The rate of fire is 700 rounds per minute, and it fires the 5.56 by 45mm NATO round. The ammo capacity is 30 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, with reload times of 2.5 seconds with at least 1 bullet chambered, and 3.1 seconds when you run the magazine completely empty. The damage for the AUG A3 is on par with the rest of the assault rifles, with 25 hit points of damage per bullet out to 8 meters, and it trails down to a minimum of 18 hit points of damage per bullet out to 55 meters. The AUG A3 has near average recoil stats of 0.35 degrees of recoil pulling left, 0.25 degrees pulling right, and 0.26 degrees of vertical recoil. However, once you factor in the 2.4 times first shot multiplier, the average recoil is on the high side compared to the other assault rifles.
This is where I start to get a little nervous about the weapon reviews I'm doing, because all of them just seem to be great. I play them at all ranges to see how effective they can be, and it's been a while since I've come across a disappointing weapon. Enter the AUG A3, one of my favorite guns to use in Battlefield 3, which is continuing the streak of awesome weapons I review. For those that were a fan of this in Battlefield 3, you'll be happy to know that, as far as I can tell, it feels exactly the same in Battlefield 4 as it did in Battlefield 3. The AUG has two features that really work in its favor. One, the vertical recoil isn't all that bad, even when taking the first shot multiplier into consideration. Two, the AUG has the fastest bullet velocity out of all the assault rifles. That means that your bullets are going to travel to your target faster than any other assault rifle is capable of. And that's actually more beneficial than I think some people will give credit to. It automatically gives you the upper hand on that first shot if you can get it off quicker, or simultaneously against an enemy, and the subsequent flinch caused by a good shot can be enough to really throw off the other player to allow you to win your gunfight, even if you're going up against something with a very high rate of fire like the FAMAS. It may sound silly, but getting that first shot on target first can really have a huge impact on your engagements. To me, the AUG is the ideal mid-range weapon. Because of the average rate of fire, it doesn't do very well going toe-to-toe with the enemy in close range, where you're more likely to run up against faster firing weapons or shotguns. Also, I found the hipfire spread to be frustratingly bad on this, even when I equipped it with the correct grip and laser sight to get the most out of it when hip firing. I found myself dying more often than not in those situations, but it was a completely different animal when I backed up and engaged on moderate distance. It was actually still also serviceable if you were to take the time and aim down sights instead of trying to rely on that hipfire inside of close range. At that point, it was okay. I really love the AUG as a great cover-to-cover weapon. I actually got to play a lot of rush with this, and I found that it was great in a supporting defensive role when attacking the MCOMs. I find cover about 20 or so meters away and quickly duck in and out to reload after taking down any enemies attempting to defuse, or even well before that. It works well with the slightly higher than average reload times, as you're at a safe distance that most people won't bother to rush you behind your cover. My preferred setup for the AUG A3 is the holographic or ACOG sight, the heavy barrel or suppressor, and the angled grip. I found that setup really allowed this gun to be at its best in the mid-range, and I could tweak it depending on if I want to be on the edge of the close to mid-range or the edge of mid to long range. I'm going to give the AUG A3 a 5 out of 5. While the AUG's hipfire accuracy leaves a lot left to be desired, I still found it serviceable in that close range when it wasn't aiming like a complete moron. It's not ideal, but it does work well enough if you're aiming down sights. This gun is an animal in the mid-range though, thanks to that fast bullet velocity, making this gun highly accurate.
I was rather pleased when I found out that the AUG A3 would be making a return in Battlefield 4 because of the simple fact that the AUG was one of my all-time favorite assault rifles from Battlefield 3. I was most delighted to discover that the AUG plays pretty much the same as its Battlefield 3 predecessor, which makes picking up the gun a far more comfortable experience due to the lack of a learning curve that you'll naturally have with some of the newer guns or some of the reimagined weapons from Battlefield 3 that have returned for Battlefield 4. For me, the AUG with its 700 round per minute rate of fire exists in that Goldilocks zone of rate of fire, which allows you to be more diverse with your engagements. You can be deadly at the long ranges while firing controlled bursts from across the map, or you can hammer down on the trigger and get those full auto kills in the mid to mid close ranges as well. Additionally, on console, the AUG's rate of fire allows for a far more forgiving experience for the player, as the aiming is inherently not as precise as it is on PC. The player can begin to fire and continue firing while making those much needed adjustments to the sticks without having to worry about running out of ammo too quickly. Although rate of fire for me is one of the AUG's biggest strengths, it is also one of the weapon's greatest weaknesses as well in Battlefield 4. Due to the newfound variety in gun loadout choices per class, it is easy for the AUG to be outclassed in close range engagements by the faster firing weapons available in Battlefield 4. A good for instance can be seen within the assault class itself. 6 out of the 12 assault rifles boast faster firing rates than the AUG, with 5 out of the 9 carbines doing the same. I'm not saying that the AUG cannot win close range engagements, it is just that the odds are stacked against it if it is presented with a head-to-head gunfight. It could be coincidence or perhaps conditioning, but my personal playstyle plays mostly into the strengths of the AUG. I prefer to engage my targets at medium to long ranges with the occasional close range encounter when capturing objectives or arming MCOMs. Due to my playstyle, my preferred loadout for the AUG A3 is a holographic sight, the laser sight, muzzle brake, and ergo grip. To finish off my review of the AUG A3 for the PlayStation 4, I'm going to give the AUG a solid 4 out of 5 stars. The weapon is incredibly solid where assault rifles need to be, which is in the medium to long ranges. However, because the AUG can be outclassed in close quarters engagements by 50% of the assault rifles and 55% of the carbines available to the assault class, I cannot give it a higher rating.
Alright guys, that's going to wrap up today's weapon review. I hope you enjoyed it. Overall, the AUG A3 has earned 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you did enjoy the review, I ask you that you please take a moment to check out my other videos as I do more than just these weapon reviews. Also, thank you Why Not the Tiger for stepping in and being the guest this week. If you guys are all interested in what Tony does for videos, he does a little bit more than just Battlefield 4, and he primarily sticks to PlayStation 4. Go ahead and check out his channel. There's a link to it down in the description below. Last but not least, please like and share the video if you enjoyed it. It always means a lot to me to see the video do well with the ratings. Thanks everyone, I'll see you guys all in the next video.